Hey guys, Abner, Miranda here. I wanted to share some good news with you. For those of you that have been trying to get a single point sling from my buddy Daniel Basham that's been making these slings for years, I wanted to tell you that I spoke with Daniel about it last week, and I'm like, bro, what's up? And he goes, dude, my job is just killing me. Daniel is still in full-time law enforcement, and COVID has screwed with everybody, guys. COVID has screwed with everybody, and his job duties have gotten kind of ridiculous time-wise. Sat down with Daniel last week, spoke with him about it, and I said, look, I'll take over making the slings, no big deal, because I know how to make them. Go to T1Citizen.com. It's on the shopping page. I'm actually going to have a link right on the home page for you. But the T1 Citizen, formerly known as the Basham Single Point Sling, is available there for you. Have at it. Okay, for those of you that are kind of curious as to where the design came from, let me show you. Years ago, I went to Daniel, and I was running Nikon's cameras. And I went to Daniel, and I said, I'm hitting a lot of classes, and I'm getting absolutely run slap silly by all that weight, because Nikon cameras are heavy. So he had already made, because he's also a photographer, he had already made a sling for himself, and I was like, yeah, love it. So it's got a shock absorber built into it, and this is actually 2 strands of, I forget what type of bungee it is, what the circumference is, but it's got 2 strands of bungee in it. It's got a paracord loop. You run it through the camera, and then you basically sling up the camera. And then the next one, when I got my second Nikon, was this one, and it looks surprisingly similar to this setup. If you look at this angle right here, that triangular angle is what Daniel and I came up with, and realized all we had to do was put a quick detach as opposed to paracord. You push the QD into the back of the rifle and you release it on load, and you're done. Whenever you want to cut away to do something, you simply disconnect from the rifle, lay the rifle down, go do what you got to do, bring the rifle back, hook in, and you're good to go. You guys have seen me do this many times on videos. There's just straight up working with it. Here's precision shooting, like that. If you want to sling and keep the thing in a stationary position, you hook it around the front of the mag, run it around the back, and the rifle attaches to your body. You can run with this, it won't hit you. You can bend over, you can take a knee, you can do all the things that you got to do, and the rifle stays stuck to your body in place. It kind of migrates a little bit forward, but it doesn't come all the way around and get in your way. When you need it, you bring it around, pull the sling, you're out, and you're on the rifle. This sling here is actually the very first rifle sling we ever made. I ran it for several months to make sure that it was good to go, and then I took it to an embroidery shop here in Chattanooga, and I forget the name of the embroidery shop. It's on Bonnie Oaks, and I had them embroider my name right through the webbing, and was honestly surprised that it didn't ruin the webbing, because this is 4,000 pound mil-spec webbing. And so I embroidered it and then hung on it to see if it would actually pull out, meaning where the embroidery machine, because you can see how the embroidery machine goes through, and I was curious to see if it was actually going to pull away, and it didn't. None of this is separated. And remember, then I was 340 pounds, and I hung on the sling. I actually put her on the tree limb and hung on it. We've also pulled on the stitching itself. You can see some of the stress points. I mean, we have wailed on this sling, and this thing, like I said, has been in service since 2010, and it is in superb condition. This was actually number 1. This was number 2 in Ranger Green, number 3 in Coyote, which frankly is really my favorite color. Mostly because Coyote kind of goes with everything. It goes with OD green weapons, goes with black weapons, it kind of even goes with gray weapons. But Coyote's my favorite. Well, the one that I'm making, the one that I made last week actually for a client, is this one. And I'll just show it to you with this one. If you look at the 2 webbings, it's impossible to tell the difference. The beauty of it is, this sling is off the same exact roll that this sling was made off of. And And the reason I tell you that is because I want you to understand that it is the same exact color spectrum. The webbing is made in a process where the color is actually in the webbing, it's not on the webbing, meaning it's not dyed into the fabric, it's actually in the fabric. And so you end up with a color that is identical, that doesn't fade. This one has been in non-stop use for, I'm going to say 8 years, something like that. And it still looks really good. The stitching is intact. This is now the one that I'm making, and it is identical in quality to the other ones that have been made. I'm using reinforced nylon, I'm using all the mil-spec webbing, mil-spec buckles, Magpul quick detach, and then this one was made for instructing so that when you lay your weapon in the dirt, you can still see it. I'm sorry, in the grass. When you lay your weapon in the grass, you can still see it with the neon orange on it. Now, for those of you who are into 2-point slings, well, good news. I've actually got you covered as well. For those of you that don't know the difference, a single point sling is a fighting sling. Every time, and I mean every time that I've ever been to any rifle training, I repeatedly hear the phrase, those of you with single point slings are going to fly through this drill. Most especially if you're doing a drill where the instructors are creating malfunctions in your weapon. If you're tasked with carrying a weapon for extended period of time, like a bug-out gun, a truck gun, or a hunter, you're going to want a 2-point sling. Well, with the same idea of the single-point slings, this one's made of shot cord. The entire sling, end to end, is 100% shot cord inside of mil-spec webbing. And this is actually the original that we made back in 2013, and it is still in dynamite shape. It's got a quick detach on one end and a quick detach on the other. You get inside, and you're done. You put the gun on, and you forget about the gun. You can sling it around the backside and completely forget about this gun until you actually need it, and then you just swing it around, get inside the sling, and you're on the gun. It's the sling that you want if you're going to have to spend a lot of time wearing your gun. So guys, that's what I've got for you. I'm really excited to be offering this for you because a lot of you have been hitting me up in the last few months going, I can't get a sling, I can't get a sling. Well, now you know why, but now the slings are available through T1Citizen.com. As always, I thank you guys for watching. God bless you all. Get those guns out and practice. Have a good one.